The Epstein files. We, the public, are invested in these files because we want to hold people accountable. We want facts. We want factual information, and we want the names of those who were undoubtedly inside Epstein's inner circle and participated in his many, many schemes to engage in sexual acts with minors, in his acts to traffic women who didn't really want to be there, to traffic minors. We want names with just proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What we don't want, and I feel like, I guess I might not be speaking for everybody, but what I don't want is unvetted, unverified information that just make for a good headline to click on. And that is what I have been seeing the entire weekend. So after this new batch, the largest batch, I guess, I mean, that's what the DOJ wants us to think. This is the largest batch that we've dumped thus far with the Epstein files. All I saw all weekend were really stupid clickbait headlines about Jay-Z and Pusha T. And I'll get to those. You know what? Let's just do it now. We'll do it now. We'll do it live. So I'm going to share this tab right here. These are the, oh, no, not that one. Well, you know what? We can get to this one soon too. But let's see. Okay. This one right here. Removing this. Okay. So this is the allegations against Jay-Z, Harvey Weinstein, and Pusha T. Now, it looks very official, unclassified, FBI crisis intake form. Essentially, someone called the FBI in 2019 at 8:20 a.m. and reported this to an operator, and they took notes and they created a report based on this. And I've spoken to several lawyers that are somewhat close to this case, and they have all kind of said the same thing, that this right here is a 5150, which essentially means somebody that is mentally incapacitated. And look, I obviously, if someone was assaulted, I'm not going to tell them they weren't assaulted. However, this one's tough. This doesn't make a ton of sense. They are alleging that Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, they were both at Epstein's West Palm Beach mansion in 1994 and in 1996. And I mean, Jay-Z's first album didn't come out until 1995, and he wasn't even that famous. He was an up-and-coming hip-hop artist. I don't really see him rubbing elbows with Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein so soon after his album was released. That's just not who he surrounded himself with. And, not only that, but Jeffrey Epstein, he didn't actually start making his Hollywood connections until much later down the road. I mean, much, much later. In 1996, I'm going to go ahead and guess that he wasn't friends with Harvey Weinstein. And I'm guessing this based on other emails that I've read between Epstein and a very famous publicist, Peggy Siegel, who I felt like really was Epstein's connection to Hollywood. And so she's making all of these introductions to him, including Harvey, who was her client. And this is, again, late 2000s. So right away, this isn't making sense to me. The Pusha T in 2007, she's saying that then she was kidnapped, or I'm not sure, kidnapped, attending a party, and Weinstein and Pusha T drugged her before engaging in SA. So, I mean, again, I'm not gonna sit here and say this unequivocally didn't happen to this girl, because you never know, or this person, sure, you never know, but this is unvetted, this is unverified, and we're going around and taking this as fact when again, someone called it into a tip line. And I don't know if you recall, but last year, I feel like it was the year for a lot of civil lawsuits against Diddy, against Jay-Z, against Kanye West. I didn't see one like that against Jay-Z or Pusha T. So I'm not saying that, that necessarily means anything. But to me, I'm just like, okay, well, let's draft a civil lawsuit here, and let's bring it to a judge. Additionally, the FBI didn't do anything else with this. So I don't know if that means that they looked into it further and they didn't find any supporting details, whatever. But yeah, that doesn't really add up to me. And it's just interesting because that's what we're going off of here. That's been a crux of the headlines over the weekend. And there's other emails that are interesting, like the one I pulled up before. I mean, this one is somebody from the jail claiming that Jeffrey Epstein didn't get any food except for the one time he was served a sandwich at 4:15 every day. And they also said that he's meeting with his lawyers from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. That's not a thing. So number one, you don't have 12-hour meetings with your lawyers. I mean, your lawyers have other places to be. That wouldn't fly, just regardless. And second of all, I spoke to the former warden of the Brooklyn MDC. You can go to the live tab and catch our live. But he was like, no way would a one meal a day ever fly. And this is MCC, of course, that Jeffrey Epstein was held, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, which is now closed due to horrible, horrible conditions there. And I'm sure Epstein's death didn't help too much. But yeah, he said there's reports. And even if the inmate refuses food, it's going to be recorded by the CO or by whoever's in charge. So this is another email where it's like, oh, sure, you can read this and say, hey, they only fed Jeffrey Epstein once a day, but that's not necessarily the case, and that's not necessarily true. And so, it's like the whole Zohran Mamdani, Epstein is Zohran Mamdani's father. Okay, I don't really think that's the case either. Although, yes, there is a connection between Mamdani's mother and Epstein, because Ghislaine had a party at her home that Mamdani's mother attended for this movie that she directed. So yeah, they know each other. And that picture that's surfacing with Mamdani and Clinton and Epstein, I have a hard time. I don't know what's AI and what's not anymore. So I haven't really focused on that picture. Although the picture in this thumbnail with Prince Andrew on the ground, that is legitimate. And, Prince Andrew, he lost his royal status because of his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, that is factual, I think, at this point. Although, legally nothing's ever happened to him. But I think that, we can say here, like, there have been paparazzi photos of him walking out of Jeffrey Epstein's apartment. There's photos with him and Virginia Giuffre. This is not an allegation that's coming out of nowhere. It's supported by facts. So, I wanted to say that. And I also wanted to share, let me find this. This is what we want as the public, or this is what I want here, at least. Emails where, if, as you can see, they redact the from, which is most likely a John or somebody who is aiding Jeffrey Epstein with women. And again, these files make sure to block that. And it's like, okay, so you're going to block the actual names of people emailing Epstein to set certain things up. Hope you're doing well and thank you again for your help in NYC. Hope you can find a great guy for blank. Her P is what I mean, okay, cool, got it. But yes, we'll just protect that person. This person, meet me at class 9:30. So many hot girls, promise. Hurry, NYC, 30th between 6th and 7th. Then we go to matcha, okay? Promise an abundant of young P, flesh, love A. What? Yeah, let's totally protect that person as well. That seems like a person I want to protect. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's also, I mentioned Peggy Siegel. She was the publicist I had informed everybody about that was Epstein's connection to Hollywood. She has this whole filing that I found about the 2011 Oscars, and nobody's name is redacted except for this one right here, where she talks about basically a bunch of directors and actors and how she saw them all floating together. And then she said, beautiful director, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, Catherine Bigelow, Mark Boal. And then she has a redacted name. And it says blank, who is headed to Broadway in The Normal Heart this spring. And then she goes on. I mean, The Normal Heart appeared on Broadway in 2011. So I did look up the artistic staff around that, and also you know, an actor in that who happens to also be a director. And I found that these people might be the people redacted here. So Joel Grey was the director, but also there is an actor and he is also a director. So it could have been him as well. And his name is, just give me a second. His name is Joe Mantello. So yeah, I mean, I think it could be either of those guys, but that just raises a question for me. Why is that name redacted exactly? I mean, in my opinion, it's because this person knew that this was coming, that he is a part of these filings, whatever is emails, whatever's going on there, and his lawyer made a play to get that redacted right away. So, or, you know, and therefore they've taken the time, the DOJ, to actually make that happen. But I want to quickly play this as well about just the lawyers of some of the victims who have recently come out and said, you need to take a lot of this down because we are not protected. And that's what's getting so infuriating, that there's lies. We're going off of, you know, XYZ, and we're leaving the victims' names in there. Yeah.
Overnight, the survivors calling on 2 New York judges to provide emergency relief and shut down the Epstein Files website immediately after a number of them had their identities exposed. Writing, DOJ committed what may be the single most egregious violation of victim privacy in one day in United States history. Ugh. DOJ officials say they work to correct any mistakes when they become known.
Every time we hear from a victim or their lawyer that they believe that their name was not properly redacted, we immediately rectify that.
But the emergency request includes this quote from a person whose name has never been divulged before, saying, "I've never come forward. I'm now being harassed by the media and others. This is devastating to my life."
Aww.
The document's also raising serious questions about why Jeffrey Epstein was given such leniency after investigators initially uncovered potentially breathtaking criminal activity.
It is just this incredible, deep, visceral level of frustration and disappointment and sadness and grief.
Well, we know he got a deal with Palm Beach prosecutors back in the day. And essentially, that's why Ghislaine also thought she was untouchable. There was some kind of immunity deal. But what they were too dumb to realize, I guess, and I still have a hard time with this, is that was not that did not apply federally. I mean, that is what killed me. These are well-educated people who just thought they were completely protected just because a state prosecutor promised you an agreement. I mean, yeah, it's so frustrating. But if you would like to learn more about some of the actual emails that I feel really don't make some of these people look good, head to lamag.com or just go to the episode notes. I wrote a story about Woody Allen's wife, Soon Yi, and what she had to say about former disgraced Congressman Anthony Weiner, his 15-year-old victim. And it's pretty bad. I also got trolled for that, by the way. And again, I write very AP style, no opinions, but they kind of were like, she was groomed, Soon Yi, so, you know, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, multiple things can be true. You can still be a total jerk and you can be, you know, unfortunately groomed. But you know what? You go ahead and read it for yourself and let me know what you think. I'm Lauren Conlin. Thank you for listening, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe right here at Los Angeles Magazine Videos, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.